Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Climb Together podcast. I'm your host, Tonage, here with my co-host, Deception. Deception, say hi.
What up?
Welcome back to episode 144 of the Climb Together podcast. Let's go. Another week. 144. Um, so we've got quite a bit to talk about this podcast. We did just come back from the off season of Call of Duty. Well, not off season, but like off a couple weeks from the holidays and everything like that. And we really didn't cover much last week because we had Hugs on the pod. So we have quite a bit to cover today. So we're gonna try to move through it in a way that we can still go into depth, but try to cover as much as we possibly can. There's just a lot happening this week, as it is a new year. So lots of new things, new year, new games, new us, new them, new beginnings, new endings. You know, new. Anyway, so I think we were literally just talking about this before I hit record. But I feel like the first topic, and probably one of the biggest topics I think we're gonna talk about today, is the ending of FaZe Clan. So for those of you that are like unaware, that haven't been online, I guess, because you've been busy, families and holidays, and maybe just live under a
Yeah,
rock.
this did all basically all transpire over the Christmas break. So
Pretty much, it was like a Christmas present, or not present, but like I don't know.
it was
So
like Santa giving you coal.
yeah, literally, it's just like, oh, this organization's done. So I mean, this is all based off of what we know off the internet. This could be 100% accurate, could be like 90% accurate. We're not just giving you stuff out of our butt though. This is not just made up things. So allegedly, this all started. There's a lot about it that is just not on.
Started like a day or two after Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like
So there's a lot about this that is unknown, whether that be NDAs, and it's just things that happen behind the scenes that they just can't talk about, that were bad, that happened, and things that we just don't know. Maybe we'll never know, unless Rain knows and decides to just go all out and put a video out for us to
it
watch.
wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either. That's, I feel like, the only way we'd know about it, and it'd have to be like a few
That's
months
the only way
removed.
we've known about any of the like controversies that have happened in FaZe is Rain just kind of like says things whenever
Yeah.
he wants.
So that's the only way that we would figure out something now. So let me look here. Let me try to go back in Deceptions and Mind DMs. They're pretty weird around.
It was
this
like a
point.
day or two after Christmas. They're just popped up this like there popped up this rumor that like basically everybody had left FaZe outside of like a few people, and then it all started like kind of coming down within the next couple days. It was like that rumor hit, and then there were a whole bunch of people a that made like most of the FaZe guys made tweets about like, oh, I'm doing a stream at 2 p.m. PST on this like tomorrow, and like you need to be there because it's important, and like there were so many like basically everybody tweeted that, and then it came to be
I think
true
it was
as
Christmas.
like
I think it was
basically everybody
Christmas.
left.
Because looking back at our DMs, I think it was Christmas. Now that I'm scrolling, so
It was right around Christmas.
no, like this post is on Christmas from Pioneer. Hold on. So looking at this post from Pioneer, he posted this on Christmas at 5:52 p.m. This is later in the day. FaZe Clan disbands after 5,688 days, or 15 years and 7 months.
It's crazy, bro.
And at this point, Jev was still in. A lot of people were saying that they were leaving. Yada
Yeah, there
yada
were still
yada.
like a few people involved. Like Apex hadn't officially left yet. Jev hadn't officially left yet. Scope hadn't left yet.
So this
There were
all
a couple people still remaining, but like basically all of the newer guys left.
yeah. So pretty much, I think it kind of like what caught my attention. The post that caught my attention was Dap leaving.
Yeah,
Just shows his attention.
Adapt was the first of the super OGs to leave.
Yeah, this was Christmas Day at 8:06 p.m. This is when he tweeted about it.
But that was when I knew that it was real, because I thought it was just something stupid,
Yeah.
like when Banks bought them out before, because this kind of something similar kind of happened where everybody was like, "Oh, I kind of left FaZe," but like, and then Banks bought everybody out.
Mm-hmm.
But this was like when I saw that Adapt left and like like you can see what he said in this tweet, I was like, yeah, this is actually happening.
14 years, over half my life. I'd be lying if I said this didn't hurt, but it had to be done. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of this journey. Best is yet to come. So, from what I've heard on the internet, could be true, could be not. There was some discrepancies with the way that FaZe does their contracts for
Yeah,
creators, and that's
there
kind
was
of
a
like
lot of contract talk.
what the basis of it was.
Which I mean, that's been the case for a while.
I mean,
Because
they've
even
had this
if you go
problem
back
with
to
like
like Tfue back
Tifu.
in
That
like
was the issue.
2018,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
like the issue with
that
that.
was
So it's
like the
like,
first time it popped up, and I feel like contracts have been kind of a contentious thing about FaZe ever since then.
yeah. So it's just one of those things that's like they were taking advantage of the fact that they were such a big name and they thought that they were entitled to more than I think that they really were entitled to. So this led to literally everyone leaving. And then at like I don't even know what o'clock. It was like
Everybody made announcements that streams were gonna happen around like 5 p.m.
yeah.
EST.
And
Like
then at
basically all the FaZe guys had
4:20,
stream.
Adam Ross tweets bought FaZe Clan. Um, which so
I
from
don't know if
according to
that's true.
Grok says from recent reports, core members left FaZe Clan due to legal issues and scandals, including the July 2025 MLG coin controversy, including Adam Ross and FaZe Banks. Adam then bought it for $20 million on December 25th, 2025, after the exits, seemingly to revive or rebrand the org. So,
Yeah, I
I
don't think that's
mean,
gonna happen.
no, I just like it's done. Like you lost all your creators, you screwed them over. Essentially, I don't know. Like I don't know what happened. I don't know what the deal was. I don't know what was offered. We weren't there in those rooms.
We lost all of the super OGs, so like I
Jev
don't think
left
anybody cares
officially.
about
Like,
like
oh
if he brings FaZe back in some capacity, I don't think anybody's gonna care. Like even the people that are fans of the new guys, as soon as the new guys come back, they're gonna be like, I don't think this is real.
no, it's just not. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be FaZe, especially with like Adapt not there, Apex not there. Um, in Jev, he posted a video about it. It took a few days for him to actually acknowledge it at all, but I think that's just because he was trying to find the right words to say. This was a very difficult thing. I mean, this was people's livelihoods for over a decade. Oh, excuse me, over a decade. So,
Decade and a half for some of them.
yeah, since 2010. So
For Adapt it was over a decade. For Apex it was 15 years nearly.
it was just like a hard thing for them
Adapt
to do.
came in like early 2014. Uh, I remember.
Yeah. So, and then
There's even a clip of him reacting to him getting joining FaZe and getting asked to join FaZe after he left.
So then, FaZe on the 28th ended up posting this. It's heartbreaking to see this era of FaZe come to a close. It's beyond tragic the way it all ended. It's been an emotional few days. We wish the boys the best, not only as creators but as people too. FaZe has always felt like a family, so we will always unconditionally. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Root for and support them. FaZe Esports hasn't operated as a separate entity, and nothing on that side will change. Rather, it will become our main focus moving forward. So FaZe Clan is
Yeah,
done, but FaZe Esports continues. So like FaZe
yeah.
Vegas is
FaZe
like
Esports has always operated separately from FaZe Clan, so I kind of expected there to not be much of a change, but I am glad that FaZe Esports is staying because FaZe Esports has been like a big thing ever since they got
when
into
they
it.
got into
Um,
esports. So I mean that's gonna continue. I'm pretty sure Kason is in control of that,
yeah, Kazon is in charge
and
of
he
that,
tweeted about it
which is
too,
great.
saying that he's gonna continue working on it, and so it's just like a thing to see because like I mean FaZe Clan has been, I've said this before, but FaZe Clan has been an example to the world of esports for those that are not in the space. It's the biggest organization for a long time. You know, they were the first ones on to be publicly traded, and it's just like they've made all the mistakes possible. And it's because, I mean, I think Jeb said it in his video. These were a bunch of kids that didn't know anything about business, anything about contracts, anything about anything other
Yeah.
than they just liked to play video games and they wanted to make money. And those were like the two founding concepts of FaZe Clan. Um, like they like to play video games with their boys and they want to make money and through content and through eventually
I mean, that's
esports.
how it started. Like, but when you look at like the broader like content creation and like gaming in general, like if you think about like what gaming was in the 2010s, Phase is like one of, if not the first thing that you think about
Yep.
because they became iconic because of
Mm-hmm.
their sniping and um their ill cam trick shotting montages in COD,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's how all the OGs came up. Like uh people that know FaZe pre like 2015, 2016 know them for COD.
Pre
They
Fortnite, I'd
were
say pre Fortnite.
they were until then, until Fortnite came out, they were um until Fortnite came out and until the OpTic Dynasty started, FaZe were by far the biggest content org in COD.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
they like they were like one of the pioneers of content in COD, and especially from like a sniping perspective. Like you think about anybody that is a sniper now, or anybody that like any random person that if you ask them on the street like, hey, did you ever play COD when you were younger, like did you like sniping, and they'll be like, oh, I loved watching FaZe Rain, or I loved watching Apex, I loved watching Adapt. Like that's, I mean, FaZe is just was such a core thing for like COD content creation at that time.
And just
um
the esports world in general. So to kind of see them fail, it kind of speaks to a lot of different things, and I feel like a lot of it isn't things that are addressed in the world. And I could do probably a whole podcast on why FaZe failed. I think we probably both could, honestly. If we have a lame week, we might. I mean, I think that's a podcast we're gonna keep in our back pocket for a light week as far as news goes. Deception, remember that. Because I think we could go on like a full 2 hour in depth investigative podcast where we really just break down bit by bit, um, and why FaZe is an example of what's wrong with esports today.
make a
Um,
history of FaZe Clan podcast.
yeah, I mean we could
2
for
hours.
sure. 2 hour special podcast, maybe over like my spring break or something. Actually, that kind of sounds
It'd
like
be
a
like our version of ESPN 30 for 30.
You know what? Maybe we might. I don't know, or maybe it might just be like not a live podcast episode and an edited podcast episode, or just a separate thing that we do, uh, for this shit of it. I don't know, because I feel like that'd be really. I think we have some very good points to bring up on that aspect, but I'm not gonna get too much into it right now because we have limited time for these podcasts every week. But I think a lot of it comes to I mean, this has always been called the frat org, um, for a reason. These guys have a very
Yeah.
broy vibe. I mean, if you look at this picture, I'm gonna say it. There's not a woman in there, I, you know, and it might be a reason for it. And um, women have a little bit more empathy, so they might not do make certain decisions, like have really bad contracts, to do certain things. I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'm just saying diversity of gender, and it adds a different perspective on situations. Just saying. I could do a whole podcast on that. Anyway, um, I think that they made a lot of mistakes. Um, they got screwed over a lot. They got taken advantage of. They were just an example of what could be, but also what it is on the most extreme scales possible. I would say
Yeah, I
this is
mean,
an
I like
extreme
the
example.
enthusiasm out of like Banks and everybody of like trying to bring it back to the golden age, but like that just doesn't work now.
No,
Like
you can't just do it like that.
it was great in concept and it sounded awesome for the people that were around back then, but like that with the way that with how deeply they're entrenched in like business and things now, that just doesn't work. Like
Yeah.
you can't run a business like you did when you were a teenager making YouTube videos and montages while just sniping all day on COD.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Once
translate
you get to a
anymore.
certain point, you have to bring in someone that knows what they're doing. Honestly, FaZe is the reason why I decided to go to school for business, rather than just jumping into esports in general. Because for a long time, I've known I wanted to be in esports, and I know that's where I wanted to go with my career. But seeing like how badly screwed, like FaZe got screwed over, it was the reason I was like, I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna learn how business works, and I'm going to take my knowledge of esports and take my knowledge of business and bring them together so that we can have so I can have an successful organization that can be not only culturally sound but business and economically sound. And that is what FaZe showed me, um, that needed to happen. And it's unfortunate. I mean, like these guys, they're some of the best of the best. I mean, their numbers that they do on Twitch are legendary. The records that they broke are legendary. They won content org. They literally just won content org of the year for 2025. So like just to go from that to them being over, literally like a week or two later, was insane. So I don't know. Rest in peace, FaZe Clan. I think I think this is a day we all knew would come, but everyone was trying to prolong it. I think ever since,
I mean, we
um,
thought it was over like 2 years ago.
yeah, like when the whole Grace thing happened, like Days Grace,
When all that stuff happened, and then like it was rumored that like Banks was like gonna take them away from like the investment group that they were in. I was like, yeah, it's probably over. But then like somehow they revived it, and sadly it didn't last that long.
yeah. I mean, they gave it everything they had, and they did what they could. But yeah, they cleared house. Everyone kind of going different ways. I mean, these guys, they
Yeah,
have opportunity.
it
I mean,
was
they could really go to any org they want with the numbers that they pull if they want to be in another
a bunch of
organization
people
again.
left in bulk, and then there was like the main like notable ones that were still left was like Swag, Scope, Apex, Jiv. Swag said he wasn't gonna leave until Apex left because Apex is the one that got him into it. Scope said he wasn't gonna leave until Jiv left. Um, and I guess they had a bunch of talks because they were all talking, and it was almost like it almost felt like what happened with OpTic before they all left for the Huntsman. Like there were a few people left in OpTic, and it was like, I'm not gonna leave until this happens, and then what do you know?
It happened.
Apex leaves, and then very shortly after, Swag left, and then Scope and then Scope said like, I'm not gonna leave until Jev leaves, and I guess they talked shortly after that because like a day later Scope left, and then a couple days later Jev, in the midst of playing Elden Ring, finally talked about it, and he said, I mean, technically he didn't leave because he was the only one left. You can't leave something that's already gone. So,
Yeah, pretty much his words. I think too, like I've been not to this degree, but I was in an organization a few years ago where like it was great one day and then 72 hours later it was gone. Um, and that 72 hours is crazy because you're like, what do we do? Like you're sitting in Discord calls all day. You're like, what do we do? What's the best decision? And you're like talking with your people, and you're like, guys, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? I'll do what you do. I'm going with you. I that's what I did. I was like,
well,
okay, I
I
like
mean,
I
that's
like I was like, you
that's
you
what
what you
happened with
your move is
Optic.
my move. Your move is my
Like,
move.
I remember when all that happened with Optic because it was this very similar thing. It was like Optic got bought out by Immortals, and everybody basically knew that now Optic is really not Hexes anymore because they started
Hmm.
making some crazy decisions. And then it was everybody kind of knew, you could kind of tell that it was about to be over. You know, one thing that probably most people forget is Optic had that team house in Texas, and it was like they called it like the old guard. It was a smaller team house, but it was still a team house. Like Hitch, Maniac, Bows, like people like that were in there.
Hmm.
And then like the dominoes just started to fall. Like COD Champs happened in BO4. Um, and after that it was like things started slowing down really bad, and then slowly everybody just left. And like I just remember like watching I remember watching like Bose talk about leaving, Maniac talked about leaving, and it really hit when like when I watched Scump talk about leaving and Big Timer talk about leaving, um, and it was kind of the same thing. It's like all of it, like the OGs were left, and then when they finally dipped out, it was like, yeah, this is actually probably over.
So it's like it's one of those things. It's like we've seen it a couple times. I mean, and in Hex's case, I mean, there's a universe out there where he doesn't get OpTic back. And then they never made the revival. There's that world, but I feel like the OpTic fan base is just so. I feel like the FaZe fan base is a little bit more younger now than it was before, especially when they went away from the sniping and the Call of Duty as much.
Well, and I
And
also feel like
became.
they're a lot more split than Optics because FaZe tried doing so many things over the last few years that
Mm-hmm.
it just I mean a lot of people have said it inside and outside of FaZe, it just doesn't feel like FaZe anymore.
No. But the thing is with OpTic, it's like at the end of the day, like the core's always been Call of Duty, and they've always had a Call of Duty
Yeah.
core, and that I think is the reason why it was able to come back, like as like a whole, like not even just like them going back to OpTic, but like like Hex having like ownership back, and like just like it being more successful than it's ever been. And I
Yeah.
think the only reason why is because the power of the green wall was a lot more sustained and passionate and less weary, because it wasn't the people that they were worried about. It was literally just because they got screwed over by business. I mean, it happened a lot during that time because esports was growing, people wanted to invest, but the people who were running these organizations didn't really know a lot about business, so they were being taken advantage of. And it's
Yeah, a
just
lot
like,
of people that came in were like very like well, especially when you look at and I speak about this because I've heard a whole lot more about it. But when you look at like the Optic with Infinite and then Immortal situation, is it was just a case of it was a case of at first Infinite hadn't really been in esports very much, and they bought Optic, and it was like Infinite had a bunch of people that were obviously very good business people,
mm-hmm,
because Optic did seem to benefit quite a bit from the whole Infinite thing in the beginning. But it just ended up being that the Infinite people just they were great business people, but they didn't know or understand how esports and like gaming content creation worked.
yeah, they just didn't. They
And so
didn't.
they tried to do things that just didn't align with what people wanted and how it should be
They
done.
thought they knew
And like
everything.
you could tell that like things were wrong on the inside. Um and then like I mean the Immortals thing was a little different because I think what happened with Immortals is they just like Infinite were just making bad decisions on the like on how things should be run, and Immortals were just trying to basically just lure Optic out of
Yeah.
like what their core because like um there was a lot of stuff. The reason why like everybody left Optic and Hex left Optic was because Immortals were basically trying to build a Call of Duty team that just wasn't centered around anybody that was in currently. They were
Mm-hmm.
trying to basically get all new players and maybe only keep like Scump. Hex wasn't going to be involved. Nobody was going to be involved, and so they all just left.
Because that's not what it is. That's not what OpTic is. That's not what the green wall wanted, and that's and and you see like and you saw that it wasn't as much the name. It was the people in it, it's the personalities in it, and when you lose those people, you lose the passion for the organization, because
Yeah.
most people just went and supported NRG because that was where their people went. And I think like to kind of wrap this up, because we've been talking about this for 25 minutes. Like I said, we could probably do like
Yeah.
a whole like special podcast. It's like 6 hours on this topic.
Oh yeah.
But you see two sides of this, like of what could two different outcomes to the same similar scenario. Not the same, but similar. You've got OpTic, who was able to bounce back, and you've got FaZe, who was not. And I feel like that is a comparison that I feel like should be really talked about. And I think I definitely like thinking about it now, like that's something that I want us to go through and go in depth on, and like really do like a uh an investigative podcast about, and really dig down on the deep reasons why um, FaZe didn't succeed when and OpTic did. I mean, obviously, there's still some things that I think OpTic can do better, and but at the end of the day, they're still thriving and they're still doing well. So, I mean, my opinions aside, the proof is in the pudding. So, I think I think that'll be an interesting podcast topic to talk about in the future. But yeah, so FaZe is over. R.I.P. Um, it's what was, what became, and now it's good. It's
Yeah.
gone. It's gone. It's gone.
I will
So
say though, talking extensively about FaZe is a good way to transition to one of FaZe's former players. SlasheR has retired from Call of Duty.
yeah, I think
Um,
this was something that a lot of people. I honestly saw it coming. It was just like I was just waiting for it to happen. Honestly, every year I'm like waiting for his retirement, but he just keeps going. So here
Finally
we are.
happened.
Finally happened. Call of Duty community. Over the holiday break, I made one of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make. I'm officially retiring from competitive Call of Duty. Due to the timing of my decision, I didn't have a chance to make a video going in depth with my reasons, so I figured it'd be best to write something so you hopefully hear it from me first. I love the game, and anyone who knows me truly understands I live for the competition. I always strive to be the hardest worker in the room, as it fueled my confidence knowing I was more prepared than my opponent. However, as of late, the game and the current CDL format doesn't inspire the same level of excitement I once had for playing competitive COD. I would love to stay involved in the community in some way, but as of right now, I have no idea what the future holds. Thank you to all my teammates, my fellow competitors, and the fans for making this journey so special and fun for me all these years. We created memories and friendships that will last a lifetime. I would also like to thank my friends and family for supporting me all these years and understanding the sacrifices I needed to make in order to be great. I couldn't have done it without you. The end of an era.
Yeah,
Hey.
this is this is the there's when you look at like what I would call like the old guard of COD esports, there's now only one left. There is only one player currently that is left that is still competing. That started his career before BO3 when the CWL started and everything changed. And that's TJ. It used to be just SlasheR and TJ left, and now TJ is the only one left.
That's interesting. Really interesting. I don't know. I'm just like all these different team changes. It's crazy. Like we didn't even get through the first stage. We didn't get through the first like little bit there. We haven't even had minor one
Well,
yet.
I mean, I guess all the stuff it took a little bit, but like there were people talking even after the first weekend that like there could be some crazy changes happen, and I think I guess people held off a little bit to see what would happen, and now they finally just dropped everything
Yep.
because I mean, I wouldn't have expected SlasheR to retire like this early. I figured he'd at least go to the end of the season. But yeah, I don't know. I
I think
guess
I think he was just having a lot of difficulties maybe, and like he just saw that this was like the time to do it before he got like dropped from the roster or something. Um,
I guess I can kind of understand it because he talked about how he's frustrated with like the CDL and the way things work now, which is totally fair. It's just I honestly like there is a lot of frustration with like the CDL and the way stuff goes, but I feel like there's not enough of the old guard left to voice their frustrations for people to listen. Um, it just um, but it is a product of that because before MW19 when the CDL kicked off, I mean I wouldn't say the CWL was perfect, but I think they did it a whole lot better than the CDL does now. Um, But like you look at like the retirements that have happened since the MW19 season, it just the amount of people from the old guard that have left is just staggering.
mhm. Yeah. I mean, it's coming to that point. I mean, Call of Duty's been around for so long now that people are transitioning to different points of their career, and that's just something in esports that you don't really see in other sports as much. Is like, um, not even other sports as much, but like just in careers in general, like people cycle in and out of like esports very early on in their life. I mean, you go in as a teenager most of the time. You're playing these games since you were a kid. Then you
Well, I
know
mean,
you're
yeah,
eligible
like
to compete.
you look at SlasheR, he was like 16 when he played his first event in
Yeah,
Ghosts.
like you're a kid, and then you become an adult. You're allowed to play in these tournaments. You play in them. You grind. You win championships, or you don't, but you play on these teams, and then you're out by the time you're 30. And then you're like, okay, what's next? Because all I've thought about, I've lived and breathed this game. Doesn't even matter. Not even just speaking Call of Duty, but like, Counter Strike, Valorant, like not even Valorant, but like Counter Strike,
yeah,
Dota, League of Legends, like some of these like OG games that have been around for 20 years. They've lived and breathed this game. Some people their entire lives. Like, on me personally, over 75% of my life I've spent knowing and playing Call of Duty. Like, that's crazy to think. I mean, not like all the time, 75% of my life all the time, but like I have known about and played Call of Duty for at least 15 years. Since actually 17 now. I started when I was like 5. Like 17 years. I'm 22. That's it's over 75% of my life, you
yeah.
know?
I
And so
mean,
just like, and I came in at like Black Op. Like, I didn't even come in. I came in at like 2008, not even like in the beginning. So really, like, I could have been playing this game my entire life. So like, it's just for some people, this game is their entire world, and or the game that they play is their entire world, and moving on to the next chapter. It's a hard thing to do, because you don't know what's next. Luckily, people like Scump, for example, he's a success story on how to retire from a game. Like, his retirement was exactly what Hex was trying to set up for the people of OpTic. Of like,
yeah,
you can do what you got to do. You're gonna compete, but there's gonna be a cut. He's like, there's gonna be a time when you're not gonna be able to compete anymore, and you're gonna have to retire.
yeah. I
And
mean, and
what do you have to fall back?
this
What
is a
is your next
product of
steps?
this is a product of like the landscape and everything of like how esports has gone since Scump retired. But I still think it's impressive. I feel like if you asked him, I feel like he has made more money in the only couple years since he retired than he did during like his entire career.
Probably, probably. Well, he's been able to devote to Call of Duty and give people that like expert opinion, but also that comedic entertainment value that the
Oh
guys
yeah.
of OpTic have always brought to the table. I mean,
And
most of
it's
the
been there
time,
since the first watch party.
yeah.
Like
Like,
I
that's the
I
thing is like,
remember like when they did the first ever watch party and we got to see like and you got to see what was going on in Scump's mind when he was watching it and what he was thinking. It was like astonishing because
yeah.
like there had obviously been CDL watch parties and stuff. Like Zuma had done the flank and he did watch parties there, but like there's just something different about like Scump. I don't think I had never ever seen somebody who was that insightful about the game.
Mhm.
Like
Cuz he really
he
just he
was
broke down
there were
every
so
movement.
many instances where he would predict exactly what happens before it happened. And then it happened and you're like, "Oh my god, he just knows."
Yeah. And that's part of it too. I mean, I think him not, SlasheR not knowing what to do is, I think, what it happens to a lot of them. They don't know what to do, so they didn't quite prepare themselves for that exit, because you never think you're gonna end something. When you start something, you don't think about the end. You think about the fact that it's the beginning,
Yeah.
and then you live in the moment, and then it's over. So you either
I
think
think
about what's next or you don't.
honestly, I think slashers should either step in the booth for CDL and do desk stuff, or he should hop on a watch party.
Yeah.
I think Slasher's got a pretty good personality. I feel like he would be good in one
And
of those
I mean,
roles.
he's been doing this for a long time. I'm sure that his insights are great. I think
Yeah, and
he
he's been on the disc before. They've had him like on the disc sometimes when he wasn't playing in like past events, and like he's a pretty good character.
So there's potential for him to continue with Call of Duty, or maybe he's just done. Maybe he wants to just. I mean, he said he wants to stay involved with the community in some way, but he doesn't know how.
He needs to start up that content creation right now.
Yep.
He needs to get on it.
ASAP. But good for him. I mean, moving on to the next chapter, that chapter of his
It
life.
was a fantastic career out of him.
Oh yeah. So we had a lot of CDL Rostermania stuff over break, over the break, for the holidays.
Yeah, obviously with us covering SlasheR's retirement, that means the Ravens have found a roster
Yeah.
change. Um, they
So,
announced that Exceed is coming in for SlasheR,
um,
which should be good. I mean,
so now it's
should be
Neuro,
fine.
Lurk, Succeed, and Craze. Um, Octane confirms that LAT dropped Kenny for Neum, so now it's Scrap, Hydra, Neum, Avizi. I think that whole Kenny thing
See,
is
I don't
like
know if
really
that's
crazy.
actually true because Kips replied in there and said it was fake, and there
Well,
hasn't been anything
I
for sure
think
happen.
they brought in Neum as a sub.
It's crazy that they would bring in Neum as a sub with him playing for Huntsman, though.
Yeah, no, I see it right here. I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, Ronnie Intel posted it. Sources: Neum joins LA Thieves as a substitute. As on Breaking Point.
Neum is a really good player, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so that might be how it works.
I'm kind of worried about LAT. Not really, really worried about LAT yet, but like they definitely it doesn't feel like this roster gamble has paid off
No.
so far. Now it's still very early. We haven't even gotten a
Mm,
major one yet, but um, it's been a little rough for them. They've been experiencing some struggles.
yeah. I mean, it's just like to be expected. I mean, every team. That's one thing about new like Call of Duty is like every time they have a struggle, they don't like work it out. They just kind of like pick up a new player and go forward. I think like the only team that really hasn't
That's
done that
yeah,
a lot is OpTic,
that's the
but even they do
struggle
it.
of just a new game is like a lot of teams think that like instead of trying to just stick with it and like wait too long to make a change, they're just like, "Oh, we'll just do it now." um, I honestly like, especially when it comes to the top teams are usually more prone to stick it out. Um, but I do think that I think that LAT has potential if they stick it out.
I think so
LAT
too.
just like I mean they've always been this kind of team like ever since they started, but like LAT is just one of those they're one of those teams where they start to it takes them a little bit to get going, but when they get going they're like
They're golden.
borderline best team in
Yeah.
the game. Like they're like basically every season that they've had, every really good season they've had, like when you look at like BO4, MW3, Vanguard, they always like started and they were just kind of everybody thought they were just kind of mid, like it was like, oh, there's so many good players on this team, but they're not doing all that well. And then like they start catching fire toward the middle of the season, and by the end of the season, they're a serious contender. I could definitely see this happening with this team, especially considering that's what has happened basically every year, and like, um, but I mean, it. I wouldn't be that concerned about LAT, but also like I hope they don't do it, but I also like I weirdly feel like that they there is a chance that they could make a change. I don't know if it's needed though. Um, all their players are more than good enough to where they could stick with it. I think. I mean, I do think that Kenny is like the X factor of the team because when he's not playing well, that when Kenny has not been playing well on any team that he's played, they do not do very well. But when
I don't know.
Kenny's good, they're like unstoppable.
Yeah. So it's like it sucks that he's like the X factor of so many teams, but I think that
It's
his
just how
mentor.
he it's just how he plays and it's how he like it's how he operates in the team. I mean, he's always been like this, but like he talked about on like the podcast with like Hex and stuff that he wants to have good vibes and he wants to be like the leader of the vibes. So when he's not playing well and his vibes are obviously down,
The vibes of the whole team.
there is a clear correlation with that and the team not
Yeah.
doing well.
So I mean, that's just kind of like that's just part of it. You know, you just gotta have good vibes. At the end of the day, it's all a mental game. They're all good enough to be at this level, and they're all like on any given day, any of them could win a match. Really, think about it. It's just like the mental level of the team and how in their head they get,
I
or
mean, that's true.
whatever.
That is basically like we talk about how there are clear splits between teams, which there usually are. But when you think about it from a like game to game, match to match, even like map to map, with the caliber of players in the CDL, even when you look at the worst team versus the best team statistically, it still is mostly a toss up.
Yep. Yep.
Like you can predict things, but like you truly don't know what's gonna happen when
Like it's
everybody
like how
spawns
OpTic like 9 times out of 10 will like dominate at a home event because the vibes for them are immaculate. Like that's why they do so well at like I'm sure that's what carried them to champs the first year. I'm willing like yes they had the skill, yes they put in the work, but I like genuinely it was the fact that they were playing on home turf
Yeah.
championships in Texas
Well, and
with the OpTic
that
Texas
was
crowd.
like when you think about like all the events, that was by far the loudest I had ever heard from a non EU event.
Yep.
The EU events are obviously always super loud and they're the loudest, but like that event at Champs in MW3 was insane.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. And I think that right there is just like a testament to like the importance of vibes when it comes to these teams. And so, I mean, I think that might just be part of it as well. I don't really know though. I'm not on these teams. I'm not at that level of Call of Duty. But from my experience, vibes do go a long way. For sure. For sure. For sure. For sure. For sure.
and like momentum.
So kind of moving on. Trying to get us along here. You know, we've been chit chatting. So Call of Duty releases tomorrow. Then up season
Call
one
of Duty
reloaded
releases tomorrow.
with season one reloaded.
Yeah, season 1 Reloaded comes out
Yes.
tomorrow. We're going to get a totally new map. That is, if you played the campaign, I mean, probably most of you didn't, but it's
We
if
did.
you play the campaign, it's based off of the mission in Japan where you're going across the roof. It's called Yakai, and it is a 2v2 and 6v6 map, so it is going to be very small.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Then
but
there's
then we have two
Meltdown.
fan favorites coming. We got the for the first time ever, it is being remade. We got Meltdown from BO2. It's they desperately need to add this into the CDL for S&D.
Oh,
This was a
100%.
great S&D map.
Cool. Then
Um,
we also have another returning favorite of Fringe.
this map, okay, a lot of people were skeptical about this because they brought Fringe back in BO6, which was great in theory, but like just the way BO6 played compared to like how Fringe is designed, it just wasn't that good. Like it doesn't play that good without the advanced movement. But that's where I think it's going to be great in BO7 because the BO3 like style of Fringe, and the way that the map was made is going to work very well with the extra advanced movement we have in BO7. I think it's going to be very good.
I
Um,
agree.
I am excited for Fringe is probably my favorite BO3 map.
So I think that's gonna be good too. And then we've got a new map coming with the event that's taking place. Um, we've got Vault Town, which is the Fallout Nuketown variant.
Oh
I
yeah,
guess
the
it's not really
Fallout
like
Nuketown.
a new map, but like it's a new skin of
It's
the
gonna
map.
be
I don't know.
cool though. Like,
Yeah, looks like
this
they're adding like
Fallout event looks very interesting.
different parts. Yeah, so we can kind of go into that a little bit. So they're going to be the frick. Yes. So here's the event pass. So there's some free items, and then there's obviously like the premium one, because with Call of Duty they need to make as much money as they possibly can. With the free one, can we zoom? Yes. No. Ooh. Why can't we zoom here? Why can't we zoom? Oh, dude, like what the fuck? Okay, let's do it like this. Okay, or not. Anyway, whatever. What you know what? Screw it. I'm done. So there's 10 different things you can get. You get 2 skins. You get a new weapon camo. You get a little Vault Boy charm, some double XP. And then with the premium, you get 3 operator skins. Well, 1 new operator skin, and then the ghoul operator, which is pretty cool. Not gonna lie. And
Yeah, we
then
get in the free tier, we get a completely new weapon, which is
yes, the
the
Shroom
Wolf, which is
45.
basically a futuristic version of the UMP, which
Yeah,
is going to be interesting.
Ump. I always call it the Ump. Funny that way. Um, which
I
that's
honestly, like, when you look at this, like, I honestly, just judging by the look of it, I think that there's basically no reason to buy the premium version.
yeah.
The free tiers look so good, and like, obviously, like, for people that want all of the unlocks, they're gonna want the premium,
I
but like
think
the
the
premium really
premium's gonna
doesn't
be
look that
more for
good.
like the Fallout diehards.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like this is actually one of the better free tiered events that they've had. Honestly,
The
like I
thing that I
really
like, the thing that I like that I mean, MW3 did this too. BO6 didn't do it quite as much. MW3 did this a lot, and BO7 is doing it. I like that they're adding, instead of there being just blueprints everywhere. I like that they're giving us universal camos for
oh my
every
god,
gun.
I love
Like,
it. I do. I really do.
that camo that we get, that's it's previewed on the M8, but it is a universal weapon camo that's going to be available on every gun. And I love that. I think that's awesome.
Because like at the end of the day, like there's only like a few blueprints that are actually like good. Like let's be real.
Well, there's only a few blueprints that are actually good and worth buying, but then like you buy them and you want to put all your favorite attachments on them, and most of the time they don't have the attachments associated with the blueprint. So you have a gun that's like a zombified, like half default, half blueprint gun with that just looks stupid, and you're just like, why did I buy this blueprint?
Yeah, it makes like
Usually what happens.
crazy. It's just
I will say they have, in the past couple years, they have done a little bit better of a job in as far as like integrating a lot of the
mm-hmm.
elements to where you can change things on the gun and it won't vastly change the way the gun looks, but like there's still, it still looks a little odd when you see like this crazy looking gun and then just like a default suppressor added to the end of it.
so definitely glad that they're integrating that more into things. I just think it's really cool. I really do like the ghoul operator skin. Not gonna lie, enough to buy it depends. Depends. Probably not. Um, but that's pretty much what's coming. I mean, there's whoa. What am I saying? So there's more stuff coming to zombies as well. With that, there's a new like Rads limited time mode, where there's stuff with that, and there's also some stuff coming to there's some LTM's coming to Warzone as well. But more importantly, in this update, not in this update, but soon, with at event, the event at Texas, um,
Texas.
Tejas, um, there is going to be. Hold on one second while I pull up the little clippy clip. The clippy clip. I knew it for zombies. I don't want to like put it too loud, but
Dude,
it
this
is
is going to be
step
incredible.
inside the OpTic House Zombies map, available to play at Major 1, which is actually
It's gonna
really
be a.
sick.
They're doing this in BO3. It is a modded map that has an exact replica of the Optic Scuff House. It is. This is like this is amazing. Like they teamed up with BO3 mod and map makers to do this. This is not like a map maker decided to make this and now Optic's promoting it. Like they teamed up with actual map makers to make this totally accurate and add a whole bunch of really sick stuff into it. And I am very excited to play it. I
Yeah.
obviously won't be at Major 1 to play it, but it will be available for download probably after Major 1. They said February, so
Yeah, February 2026.
I'll
Uh,
definitely be playing this. I
yeah.
on BO3. I'm gonna boot BO3 back up to play this.
What I really like is looking at the top comment, like the comments. Uh, Hitch says, "You guys can come in my room if you want to see the mystery. If you want to see my mystery box." Pamaj says,
Dude,
"You can
that's the
come."
thing, dude. Is like I understand this because I feel like I know the layout of this map before I've even played it.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, yes. Like I feel like I could walk into that house and know exactly where everything is and be like, "Oh my god, yeah." I either like, "Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom." They're like, "Do you know where it is?" I'm like, "Do I know where it is? I can count how many steps it'll take me to get there."
Yeah, dude,
Hello?
we can go in Big Timer's room and take the 40 different doors to get to his bathroom.
Yeah. Trust me. Like I think there was like this trend. It was like it was on TikTok where like people would post like houses or places from like YouTube videos or streams or not like YouTube videos or movies or stuff like that or TV shows, and they'd be like, do you know they'd be like, "Oh, do you know your way around?" And you'd be like, "Of course I know my way around. It was my second home." And then like pans to like different clips and stuff like that. So,
Dude, what Pamaj said, that's so funny.
yeah, you guys can come and see if the feet marks are on my walls.
Dude, I
You
do want to
guys
know.
are. I think it's just so funny. So that'll be really cool. That's coming this month as well. At the end of the month at the major.
That
It's
is
not
going to be
BO7,
amazing.
but it is Black. It is Call of Duty, and it's awesome, and it's zombies, and I think it's really
What we
sick.
need is now when we have the map, they need to team up with mod makers to make character skins for the Optic guys, so we can play as them. That'd be fun.
Yeah, but
Imagine if you beat the Easter egg on that map and you get like access to be able to play as Alan. That'd be great.
but it's pretty sick. Not gonna lie. I think the map awesome. I think that's a great thing that they did. For just for the community, you know. I think it would be really sick because I don't know if I've ever talked about this on stream before, but when I was younger, this was like one of my first encounters with Call of Duty. I'll make this quick, I promise. And then we're gonna go talk about Hytale. But when I was a kid, when I first played Call of Duty, my family used to play Call of Duty Zombies together all the time. It was like our family bonding time. Like my sister would come, my stepsister would come for like her visitation days or whatever, and we'd all gather in the living room or in the back. We called the back room was like a second family room, and played Call of Duty Zombies together. That was my first introduction to the game. It was like my first real introduction to gaming at a different level than just like my little VTech console that I had. So, um, when the first night after we watched, I had this dream that zombies attacked my grandparents' house. Like in the game, like exactly like in the game with the barriers and the rebuilding, wood barriers and
Oh
then the
my lord.
sandbags and everything like that. And it was insane. Like it was just crazy just to see my grandparents' house transformed into a zombies map in my brain while I'm sleeping at like 5 years old. So like I just think it's so cool that they did that to the OpTic house.
It
So
is. I that is probably the most unexpected thing I've ever seen OpTic do
Yeah,
as a promo.
yeah. No,
Like that is
that's sick.
incredible.
They always go ham for these events, but that was really just like next level. So moving on. So Hytale, uh, early access releases next week. 7 days. Well, six
It
days.
releases on Tuesday,
The
the 13th.
13th, a week before my classes start again.
Yeah.
That's perfect timing. So this is I'm just putting this footage up so that you guys can have something to watch. Exception, tell us a little bit about Hytale. Hold on, I gotta let my sisters in.
So Hightail, to break it down very simply, Hightail is Hytale is like a blend of Minecraft and an RPG game. It's like your typical like Minecraft a block game that has tons of sandbox elements in it, but it also has RPG elements like um, classes and all kinds of progression, going through dungeons, killing bosses, all kinds of different enemies you can fight, things you can craft, things you can build, all that. And it definitely seems really fun. It's made it's developed by the same people that work on popular Minecraft things like Hypixel, so they definitely know what they're doing when it comes to that. Uh, they have a ton of experience, and seeing what they've done with the game is very interesting, very fun. Um,
I'm
It
down.
drops in early access on January 13th, which is Tuesday. Notably, like one of the things that I like about the whole like what they've done with like the not only like the promo of the game, but like how transparent like the devs have been is the devs are literally saying like, hey, we're doing this, we're dropping this in early access. There are different editions of it for different prices you can buy, but you by no means have to play it. Like we're not saying that you have to like hop in right now or you're not going to get certain benefits or whatever. You can hop in at any time during the early access period. Doesn't matter. If you see that the game is like where you want it or where you feel like it will be good, whether it's now or like months from now, you can hop in and play it whenever. It doesn't matter. They have transparently said that the game is. There are a lot of things missing from what they want the full launch of the game to be. There are a lot of things that are not in there. Um, like notably, one thing that he said that he was disappointed they couldn't get done, but obviously, like because the game was like being developed in a totally different system with Riot, and then they killed it, and this team had to revive it. They've basically done like 4 years of development work in like a couple months. Um, they've notably said that like they call it the adventure mode. Um, the whole RPG style mode of the game is not available yet. They're working on it to refine it to be able to get it at some point during early access. But currently, you can play the sandbox style mode that still has a lot of the RPG elements. It's just not got like I don't think it's gonna have like a super big progression or whatever. I could be wrong though. But it's called the exploration mode, so it's basically just like a sandbox mostly, like kind of like Minecraft, but it still has like all kinds of features in it. Like they've shown off a whole bunch of like stuff like world generation. Um they've shown that like eventually you're going to have so there's the current world called Orbis that has like 4 zones that have, and each zone it's broken up into zones based on like how good like the mobs are and the enemies are in the zones. But there are different biomes in each zone. All the zones are like fairly large, I believe. Um, but they've shown a whole bunch of stuff where like they talked about recently how like they have a new world generator system coming soon. Currently we're in V1 of the world generation, but they're going to do a V2 of the world generation that completely transforms everything and even turns it into where you're going to have like multiple like universes you can go into, where you can go into completely like separate worlds that are away from Orbis. But um there's a whole bunch of cool stuff that they've teased about the game. Like they basically, this is almost like a open source game engine that they're selling you. Like you can make worlds and do world generation basically however you want. And it's not like they're giving you like a slimmed down version and they're like, "Oh, you can do this, but it doesn't look anything like the worlds we make." They are basically releasing their entire development tool system for you to be able to use.
Oh
And
dang.
not only are they doing that, they are basically they have said that they're going to work on this so they can get people into it and make it easy for everybody. They are going to show you how to use the development systems to generate worlds and things. They're going to give you tutorials and like guide you through it so anybody can just hop in and do it. You basically like when you buy Hytale, you're basically buying a game engine if you want to just develop whatever you want in it. And there are like tons of mods that have been teased that people have made, the developers on the game and people that have gotten even earlier access to the game. Like there was a mod teased where a guy turned Hytale into a top-down roguelike game where you just kill enemies constantly and get all kinds of different upgrades. So there are mods that make the game not even like what the game is currently. But there are other mods that enhance the game. Like somebody teased a mod where you're going to be able to have mining helmets that have different light colors on
Mm-hmm.
them. Um, Somebody teased a mod that I shared with Tone where there's a fortune enchantment where instead of like the Minecraft fortune enchantment that just gives you a chance to get extra ore when you mine it, there's a chance where like after you mine the block, it just replaces itself and you can mine it again. There's a bunch of really cool stuff coming for that game.
I
But
think
it
that's really
sounds
cool.
really, really fun.
It does sound really fun. We might have to try it out. Give our thoughts and stuff on it. It looks really cool. I like this like the little like I like the like low key like modded Minecraft feel that it has to it. Not gonna lie. Um, I do.
There's apparently tons of stuff you can do. Like I
Yeah.
said with that guy that turned it into a roguelike, it's like you can turn it into a game that is entirely different from what you actually bought. Cause
Yeah.
I saw the Hytale people showing off that mod that guy made, and I was like, is this even Hytale? Like, what is this?
Yeah. It just looks so cool. The characters look so fun and like lighthearted. So I think this is gonna
Yeah,
be
I think the game is gonna be awesome. Like they even showed I even saw they showed a preview of like what the combat's gonna look like, and I think the combat looks really sick.
hmm
I think it's gonna be fun.
I like the fact that they like emphasize the fact that this is early access. This game is not finished. There are a lot of bugs. It's gonna be
Yeah,
very
they have been very like Simon, who is like basically the lead of everything, has been very transparent. He's like, hey, this game is going to be broken. There are going to be bugs. There are going to be issues. But we putting it in early access so you guys can play it and give us feedback because we don't want to sit here and keep delaying the game over and over again because that's not going to do anything for us. We're
hmm
putting the game in early access so people that want to play it and want to give feedback can give it to us. He was like, if you see people playing the game and you don't like where the game is right now, don't play it. Wait until you feel like the game is in a spot where you want to play it and then buy it.
exactly. And we live in like an age where that's totally like a thing you can do because everybody streams it or puts videos out there. Wow, that was
But
a beefy podcast. Not gonna lie.
he said they've already got stuff for launch. Like they've already got a whole bunch of stuff set out where like even he said within the first week there's going to be a day one patch, there's going to be extra launch patches. Like they've got a lot of stuff laid out. So, um I don't think the game will be super broken for very long.
Yeah, probably not. But it'll be interesting to check out and see. I think I'm intrigued for sure. Something Deception I might have to play together. Um, we'll have to see. But that was a pretty beefy podcast. I'm not gonna lie. Over an hour, 2 weeks in a row. I mean, we've been just yappers. But thank you
Tons of
guys.
stuff.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the Climb Together podcast. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys follow us live over on Twitch where we stream this. Wait, follow us over on Twitch where we stream this live. Twitch.tv/tonage_scorp and twitch.tv/deception276. And if you guys are watching on Twitch and you missed part of the episode and you want to catch the rest of it, it'll be live later on YouTube today in like 2 hours. So go check it out there or catch later episodes of the podcast. If you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you guys like and subscribe. And yeah, Deception, say bye.
Bye.
We'll see you guys next time.